Hello, Big Team. Hello, friends. Welcome to LizziefayeLovesBooks. I'm Elizabeth. And today, as I'm filming this, it is Sunday afternoon, May the 7th. Today is my daughter Emily's 22nd birthday. And so after church this afternoon, we went and did some birthday type things. And we've just gotten back home. It is late afternoon, and I was just thinking how for most of my life I've gone to church on Sunday evening, but for the last few years we have been going to a church here in our town, and they don't have Sunday evening service, so it feels weird to not be at church on Sunday evening. But anyway, I'm here with you instead, and I wanted to tell you what I am reading currently for the month of May, because I didn't really get a chance to do a May TBR when I was on my trip. I did an announcement video for Middle Grade May, and I've been on a couple of live streams since then, and I've talked a little bit about what I'm reading in the month of May, but those have been on other people's channels. So before we get to any further into the month of May, I wanted to share with you what I am reading. Now, if you saw all of the host videos for Middle Grade May, you know that each of the hosts has a different theme, and I know that not everybody has seen everybody's video because there's a different number of views for each of the hosts. So if you haven't watched all 4 hosts' videos for Middle Grade May, I hope that you will. But I will tell you each host's main theme, because I am trying to cover at least one prompt or at least the theme for each host in what I'm reading for Middle Grade May. I'm not going to try to do all the prompts, and I am going to try to do all the themes, but I'm not going to do all the prompts because since I was gone for so long and leading up to my trip, I was working on our family directory, and I am just behind on all my read-alongs and projects and challenges and everything. So I'm going to do my best to sort of balance things. But then traditionally for the month of May, I not only read middle grade books, I also try to read a book a day in May. So for the last 2 years, I have read books with my daughter in addition to whatever I'm reading. And I have read Dr. Seuss books with her. So this year, we decided not to try to read any more Dr. Seuss books because we've almost read them all. There are still a few that we could read, but this year we're moving on to a different theme. We are reading Caldecott Winners. Now, I thought that, okay, Caldecott Winners, it's all about the art, so there's going to be very little text. That's not entirely true. I'm discovering that there are some Caldecott Winners that have quite a bit of text. So as to whether or not we are able to read one every single day, I don't know. We shall see. But we're reading a few other things, and so it should still average out to a book a day in May, because we have so far managed to read a Caldecott book every day, but we've also finished another Bible story book, and we are reading another one right now. So, it'll all work out. It's all going to be great. But before I get into the middle grade books and even the Caldecott books that I'm reading this month, let me just tell you a little bit about some of the adult books I'm reading. And I don't think I have finished anything yet. I'm currently actively reading 3 books in print, which was what I said was going to be my goal, or that was, I was going to try to limit myself to 3 at a time. And so far that's working out great, because I have been managing to read just about a chapter out of each one every day, sometimes a little bit more. So that's worked out great. But I am listening to some things on audio right now for book club. I am listening to The Paris Apartment by Lizziefaye. Now, I read The Guest List by Lizziefaye for book club a couple of years ago. I read it as a read-along for March Mystery Madness, and I was not a fan. If you've ever read The Guest List, you know that there are very few, if any, likable characters. And I am a very character-driven reader. I need to be able to like at least one of the characters in order to enjoy the book. And I did not enjoy the book because I couldn't find any likable characters. And then so many of the characters had, potty mouth, and, there was F-bombs, and it was just a mix of things that I'm not a fan of. So I didn't like The Guest List. And so I was going into this one kind of dreading it. But let me tell you, I'm enjoying it much more. I do like some of the characters, and I think there is less foul language in the Paris Apartment. Now, I've heard good and bad things about the Paris apartment. You know, I may be disappointed with the outcome. I don't know, but so far it's keeping me intrigued, and I'm enjoying it. And I'm maybe 25% in right now. I'm gonna have to kind of pick up the pace a little bit because our book club is this Thursday, and I'm not finding that I have as much audiobook time right now as I used to because of working at the bookstore. You know, I can't have earbuds in my ears and be able to hear if someone comes in the door or if someone asks me questions. I mean, when I'm at work, I need to be at work, and I can't be reading. I need to be working. So, you know, I am just trying to find the times when I can to listen to audiobooks. And because of the accent and everything, it's a multi-cat, what's the word I'm trying to say? Multi-person cast in, you know, the narrators. There are several narrators, one for each of the main characters, and most of them have an accent, and I can't even really listen to it sped up. So, you know, it's taking me a little longer, but I'm enjoying it. I am intrigued by it, and so far I'm happy with it. So that's a really good thing. After that, so our mystery book club meets this Thursday, and then next Thursday, our regular literary book club is reading The Exiles by Christina Baker Klein. I had started this barely because I didn't think I was going to get the Paris apartment. I was having to wait for it. There's two different ways you can get Hoopla books. Some of them are instantly available, and others you have to wait on, and I had to wait on that, but then it came in a lot faster than I thought it might, and so because I need to, you know, have it read sooner, I'm listening to it first. So I put this back on, you know, just on hold for a second on the back burner, and I am looking forward to getting into this though, because the exiles it's referring to are people in Australia. I believe this is historical fiction, and I'm excited about this one. I've always been intrigued by Australia. So then the 3 books I am actively reading in print right now, 2 of them are for read-alongs. I am still way behind in the Follow Us to Fair Acre read-along that's hosted by Kate Howe. They are reading 2 more books this month. I think after this month, it's just going to be 1 book a month. But because it took me 2 months to read the 2 books for March, I didn't get started on the April books, which this is one of, until May. And I really don't want to read 4 books in 1 month. I want to savor these. I want to just enjoy them, and I don't want to rush through them. So I will for sure read the 2 books in May that were for April. And I will probably, if I get done and have any time left, I'll go ahead and start the May book, the first May book. And then, because one of the May books is also kind of short, I'll go ahead, I'll just get as much done as I can, and then I'll just go ahead and carry on over into May. And then because there should only be 1 June book, I should be able to get caught up by the end of June with everything. But sometimes she has her live stream a week or 2 before the end of the month. So I still may not be caught up in time to join in the live stream, but I will get caught up eventually. I just don't want to rush through them. So far, I'm enjoying this one. This is Farther Afield by Miss Reed. This is one of the books I found on my trip. I'm so excited because I think from this point forward, I have all of the other Fair Acre books. I own them all. I don't own still a couple of the earlier ones, but I've read them. I read them from the library. And so everything that I need to read for the rest of this read-along, I have. I own them. They're on my shelves. And I didn't have this one until the trip. So I got it. I'm super excited about it, and I love it. This one really has a little more of an exciting plot right from the beginning than some of the others. They're very slow-paced, slow burn, just very idyllic, and sometimes not a lot of plot, but I still love them. And this one actually kind of had some excitement right at the beginning, which is carrying the story on through, and I think it's going to be really good. Then another one of the read-alongs that I'm doing is the Sewing Circle Mysteries by Elizabeth Lane Casey, aka Laura Bradford, and we are reading 1 book a month. I had already read the first 2, so I picked up with book 3 in March, and now we're on book 5 for the month of May. It's called Dangerous Alterations, and I decided to go ahead because I had just read and just finished book 4 right at the end of April. I decided to go ahead and jump right into this while all these characters are fresh on my mind. And if I can get it done and have some time left in the month, then I want to pick back up with the Jen McKinley read-along. And I believe the next one I need to read is not this one. It's going to be book 2 in the Library Lovers, which I thought I owned, but I can't find it. I need to do some cleaning and straightening. If I can't find it, if I actually don't have it, then I'll just get it from the library, or I'll go to the used bookstore and I'll see if they have it. But then this one I can listen to on audio. This is book 3 or 4 of the Cupcake Bakery Mysteries, Red Velvet Revenge. So anyway, I will get back to that read along because we're supposed to be reading 2 a month, and maybe by the time we get to the end of June, I will be caught up to where I need to be with those as well. Then, now let's move on to Middle Grade May. So, my theme for Middle Grade May is humorous or funny. And 2 of the books that I'm reading, one I'm currently reading and the other I listen to on audio, do have a lot of funny elements. Also, one of my actual prompts was to read a book that is humorous or funny, that has an animal theme or an animal character. And so, I read Premeditated Myrtle. This is by Elizabeth C. Bunce. I heard about this from Storm, who's also one of the co-hosts for Middle Grade May. And I don't know if she's read the whole series or not. I think there's 3, maybe a 4th one. There's either a 3rd one or a 4th one I think that's due out this year or just came out. I don't know. There's not that many in the series yet. But this was really cute, really funny. The cat plays a prominent role, so I can definitely count it for my prompts. And because it is... there's a house on the cover. So that was one of Storm's prompts, that there be a house on the cover. So, and it's a mystery. She said her theme was going to be mysterious, but it's a mystery, so I think that counts for that. Anyway, I finished it. I had actually started it in March, I think, for March Mystery Madness and Middle Grade March, and I didn't get to finish it. I don't know, for whatever reason, it got... it expired from Hoopla, and I just never got a chance to pick it back up. So I started it over so that I just listened to the entire thing in the month of May. Then for Lee's prompt, or Lee's theme, is teams. And she has some individual prompts within that, but I'm just going to count this for her theme overall. This is book 3 in the Randoms trilogy. It's called Renegades, and it's by David Liss, or Liss. It's Liss. Anyway, this also has some humor, so that counts for my theme as well. And it also has a light source. That was one of Storm's themes. So I guess I'm covering Storm's themes a little bit better than anyone else's. But anyway, this has been great so far. It's very exciting. There is some humor in it, and this is just a super awesome science fiction adventure for middle grade on up. I love it. And if you've never read Randoms, definitely you should check it out. I think it is a really fun science fiction fantasy adventure. And then for Elizabeth from Soul Stain Inc.'s prompts, her theme is diaspora, which is the dispersion of people either through their culture or by force. And she's got several individual prompts, but pretty much she said that anything that has to do with Native American culture could count. And so even though this is about a Navajo boy, I think before they were interfered with by the, let's just say the white men, I think this can still count. This is a Newbery winner, so this would also check off a Newbery for me, and it's in the decade that I am currently reading, which is the 1930s. I mean, I don't know that it's not set in the 1930s, but it was written and published in the 1930s. So it's Waterless Mountain. It's by Laura Adams Armour, and let me see if I can tell you what year it won the Newbery. It says it was copyrighted in 1931, which would mean that it is the 1932 Newbery winner. So I'm hoping to get to this one. I will have to read it in print. So probably as soon as I finish Renegades, I will pick up Waterless Mountain. Even if I don't finish it within the month, I'll continue to read it because I do need to try to make some more progress with my Newbery list. Okay, so what I'm reading with Emily. So we read a rather large book published by Ideals that I showed you in a couple of videos. It's called something about Jesus. Now I can't even think of the title, but anyway, it was a big kind of a coffee table book that had it had poems, it had text, it had excerpts from books. Sorry about the dogs. It had paintings and photographs, and it was just a beautiful all-around book. Sorry about the dogs. Oh my goodness. There must be a train going by because the dog is howling. He's a mess. Anyway, the book was just an overall look at the life of Jesus and the history of the times, and it was beautiful, and I learned a lot. And I read it to Emily. I don't know how much of it she was able to comprehend, but it was a good book for us to read together. So on May the 1st, we got up, and I read my little devotion out of a Journey magazine, and Emily got up, and she came in there, and I said, okay, Emily, we need to start a new book. I said, why don't you go in your room and pick out something that would be appropriate for our devotion time, some kind of Bible story book or something. It could be one of your thicker ones or whatever, whatever you have that you want to read. And so she brought this out. Totally picked it on her own. We have, this is volume 3, Read Aloud Bible Stories by Ella K. Linval, illustrated by H. Kent Puckett. This is a series, I think, of 5 books. We have 3 and 4. And we had read out of them before, but we had never really read the whole thing. Each book, I believe, has 5 stories from the Bible. And they are very simple to read, very scaled down, very simplified. That's obviously the creation story. There's Noah's Ark. But they're very quick to read. Now, I don't agree with, there's a couple of things thrown in that I don't think are necessarily biblical, just to kind of embellish the story. And, when we get to those parts, I'm like, I don't think that part is really in the Bible, but, we'll just read on. So anyway, we've already finished this one. We have not read every day. There's been a couple of days that we've missed. I mean, it's the 7th and we've read the 5 stories. Well, I guess we only missed one day then, because this morning we started this book and there's 5 stories here. I'm not sure what we'll read for her when we get to the end of this one, but she's got several books on her shelves, and I'm thinking about maybe starting her a Goodreads account so that I can track what I read to her, and also just kind of systematically go through her books, one at a time, and try to weed some out, because she's got, I know, pot calling the kettle black here, she's got too many books. There's just not enough space on her shelves. Well, duh, there's not enough space on my shelves either. But, we're going to work through them together, right? Anyway, so for her project for our project of reading a Caldecott winner, I went through the list. It started in 1938 was the first Caldecott winner. And if you're not familiar with that, sometimes Caldecott and Newbery are sort of thought of hand in hand. They are both awarded from the American Library Association, whereas the Newbery is awarded for the most distinguished contribution to children's literature. The Caldecott is awarded, now I may not get the wording exactly right, but to the most, to the artwork, to the illustrator who, anyway, it's awarded for the artwork, and it's awarded to the illustrator of the book for their contribution to children's literature. And I believe they need to be published in the United States, and that's the criteria. So we didn't get to, I kind of let it slip that I was supposed to do this. I had thought about it a long time ago, and we got up to like May 1st, and I thought, oh goodness, I've got to, or maybe the day before, and I thought, I've got to order some books. Well, we weren't able to go to the library to even pick anything up on the 1st, but I looked through the list, and I thought, do I have any of these on the shelves, or does Emily have any of these on the shelves? And the one she did have was Sylvester and the Magic Pebble by William Steig. And we had read this before, but we read this one again on May the 1st. This is a super cute story. It's kind of a fairy tale, folk tale, and if you've never read it, then you definitely should. So then I ordered what I could. Well, I didn't order for the whole month yet. I've just ordered enough for about a week and a half to 2 weeks. And some have come in, not all of them have come in. And so we're not reading them really in any certain order, But I think I will go ahead and do videos about each decade. I'll probably do the 30s and 40s together since it started in 38, and maybe go ahead and have a playlist of all of the Caldecott winners. Now, we will only read, 30 to 31 of them this month, and then we'll pick back up next year. So we'll only get probably 3 decades worth done this year, and then, like I said, we'll pick back up next year, and it'll take, a little while to get that done, but I think that would be a good project. And in order to just kind of document and talk about the Caldecott winners, then why not make a video, right? So I won't tell you about any of these right now, but I'll show you the ones we've read and the others that we have checked out. So we read Prayer for a Child by Rachel Field. Now, Rachel Field is also the author of a Newbery winner called Hitty, Her First 100 Years, which I read just a couple months ago. And so I guess she isn't, well, no, I sort of say I guess she's an illustrator, but no, it says the pictures are by Elizabeth Orton Jones. So for these, I want to be sure and tell you who the illustrator is, if it's different than the author, because that is who won the award, the Caldecott Medal. So then the next day, I wanted to read Madeline's Rescue, but we hadn't actually read Madeline. So we read both of these on that day. I don't think we'd ever read Madeline. This is really cute. It's no wonder that they, made a movie adaptation of this. Really cute, and we enjoyed them both. So there are several. We might pick back up and read more of this series later after we finish the project for this month. Then we read The Little House by Virginia Lee Burton. And I believe, so Madeline is written by Ludwig Bemelmans, and I believe he also did the illustrations as well. And I believe Virginia Lee Burton did the illustrations for, yes, story and pictures are by Virginia Lee Burton. So this was good. I'm looking forward to telling you more about that one. Then we also read, so that was 4 days. So on the 5th, Emily didn't get to read one. She went to bed and I realized we hadn't read. So I read one. Then I came back and read this to her the next day. The Big Snow is by Berta and Elmer Hayter. So this is about how all the different wildlife and animals handle the big snow and what they do. Some hibernate, some don't, some need food, some are hibernating and don't need food. So that is how that goes. And then to carry on the snow theme, the next day, I read this, and I read this to her the next day because we were a day behind for a second there. And this is, actually, no, I think we caught up because this one does not have that many words. So anyway, we eventually did catch up. So then this is White Snow, Bright Snow. It's by Alvin Tresselt, and it's illustrated by Roger DeVoyson. And so this one is more about people and people who work and how they handle being in a big snow or in white snow, bright snow. And then, so that is 5, right? Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? That's 6. Okay, so then today we read this one. It was really cute. This is The Rooster Crows, a book of American rhymes and jingles by Maud and Miska Petersham. And this is full of rhymes and just fun little rhymes that I grew up, jumping a rope to and learning. And some of them I've never heard of. Some of them don't make any sense, but it was still cute. It was fun. And we read this morning. So the ones we still have that we haven't read that are checked out and ready to go. This one is Animals of the Bible. This is one of the early ones from, let's see what year. This is by Dorothy P. Lathrop. It also says text selected by Helen Dean Fish from the King James Bible. This is the very first one. Copyright 1937. So this is the 1938 Caldecott winner right here. This is the first one. Then a few years later, I should have been telling you the years, but it's okay. When I do my video about all these, we'll talk about what years everything is from. But This one is the 1945 winner. It's called Many Moons by James Thurber, and it's illustrated by Louis Slobodkin. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know if it's Louis or Louis. And then this one we've read, but we don't own a copy of it. Make Way for Ducklings. This one is probably one of the more famous Caldecott winners. It's by Robert McCloskey. And I'm going to assume that he wrote and drew the pictures. I believe so. Yep, he's the only author credited for that. And then I have seen the picture. I've seen this cover, but never read it. Abraham Lincoln. It is by Ingrid and Edgar Perrin Dwyer, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, this is just a book about Abraham Lincoln, so that's going to be awesome. So I'm excited to get to these, and of course we will continue to order more and get more in so that we can read one each day. My library does not have the one that was the 1939 winner, so I've been kind of keeping my eye out for it at the bookstore where I work just to see if maybe we have it, but I don't know. I'm starting to say I'll probably skip it, but I really don't want to skip it. I might order it on eBay. I don't know. We'll see. I can't even remember the title of it now. It's an Asian themed book. So anyway, we shall see. I've still got some time, and it remains to be seen what we will do. So anyway, that is it for what I am reading right now in the month of May. For Middle Grade May, Book a Day in May, all the read-alongs, all the challenges. I didn't mention Serious About Series, but the Randoms trilogy is on my Serious About Series list for this year, so that will count for that. And I'm enjoying it so far. I'm having a good month. I'm kind of getting back in the swing of things. I haven't really gotten my eBay store rolling strong again yet from the trip. And I have not gotten my family directory back to the printer yet. I have made most of the corrections. I'm still waiting on a few bits of information from another cousin. And then I'll be able to get that to the printer and get that completely done. But it's been a good month so far. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it so much. Let me know if you are participating in Middle Grade May, and if you happen to think about Book a Day in May, are you reading a book a day in May? Now, you don't have to actually read a book every day. It can just average out to a book a day in May, and audio count, picture books count. Everything counts, and I hope that you will join in. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.